Intimacy of touch with moon in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, sensual devotion, royal softness. For your Purva Phalguni moon, touch is pleasure made sacred. It is not merely affection, it is celebration. Ruled by Bhaga, the deity of enjoyment, and nestled in Leo's radiant fire, this nakshatra turns physical closeness into an art form of warmth, seduction, and affection born of royal ease. You are romantic, magnetic, and lush in your emotional tone. When you touch, it is not to control or contain. It is to invite joy, to share beauty, to fuse delight with devotion. A single brush of your fingers might be teasing one moment and reverent the next. There is charisma in your caress, but also sincerity. Your body knows how to speak without words, how to reassure through texture, how to enchant without possession. You are not indifferent to touch, you crave it. But it must arrive with grace, presence, and genuine desire. Awkwardness or mechanical intimacy repels you. You are drawn to those who can hold your body with the same honor they'd give to a masterpiece, touch that is admiring, soft, and sensually intelligent. Think, a hand placed on the back during laughter, fingers intertwined on a lazy afternoon, skin pressed together not for urgency but for enjoyment. Your emotional body blooms in environments where touch is a rhythm of play and affection, not duty. You want to be petted, adorned, held, kissed in places that say, I cherish you, not just, I want you. You prefer touch that feels both affectionate and beautiful, a meeting of Venusian pleasure with solar poise. The challenge? At times, your longing for touch can become entangled with performance or validation. You might give your body before your heart is ready, simply to keep the warmth flowing. Or you might expect others to match your refined sensuality and feel disappointed when they touch without finesse or attention. To deepen this intimacy, say, I respond to touch that's emotionally attuned and offered with reverent affection. Or, for me, being touched is not about control or need, it's about mutual enjoyment and shared presence. Because for your Purva Phalguni moon, touch is how joy makes contact with the soul. It is how romance becomes real. You do not need extravagance, you need attunement. You do not need to be claimed, you need to be cherished. And when someone touches you with softness, presence, and beauty, not to take, but to share, you become what you were born to be. A lover who gives devotion through delight, a soul who teaches that true intimacy is sensual, not just in body, but in spirit. Intimacy of sensate with moon in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, pleasure as emotional atmosphere. For your Purva Phalguni moon, sensate intimacy is not about indulgence, it is about ambiance, artistry, and emotional warmth. Ruled by Bhaga, the god of delight, and flowing through Leo's radiant charisma, your sensory world is tuned to luxury, ease, and aesthetic harmony. You don't just feel through the senses, you curate experiences through them. You are moved by beauty in all its forms, the scent of roses at dusk, silk against skin, music that glides like a lover's whisper. But for you, these aren't mere preferences. They are how your emotional body stabilizes, how you recognize safety, love, and joy. Sensory input becomes soul nourishment, not just stimulation, but sustenance. Sight is sacred. You are deeply visual, and you feel closest to others when your surroundings reflect warmth and elegance. A cluttered room, harsh lighting, or rushed aesthetics can leave you feeling disoriented or emotionally dry. But soft candlelight, artistic expression, beautiful attire, these allow your heart to exhale. Sound must carry intention. You flourish in the presence of music that matches your emotional frequency. Velvet-toned voices, laughter that dances, or the lilt of slow, meaningful conversation. Loud, chaotic noise overwhelms you, not because you're fragile, but because you're tuned to harmony, not harshness. Touch, of course, is deeply central, but only when it's paired with emotional temperature. A warm hand that lingers, a back caress during a shared silence, a forehead kiss that means I see your light. Your skin doesn't just feel, it reads emotional sincerity. Smell and taste evoke memory, fantasy, and belonging. You're drawn to the aroma of floral oils, fresh linen, incense, and summer fruit. You remember people by scent and moods by flavor. A shared meal, a perfume that clings to a sweater, these are how you hold intimacy long after it's passed. But your challenge is this. You sometimes confuse sensory satisfaction with emotional security. You may accept shallow beauty in place of deep connection. You may stay too long in spaces that look lovely but feel hollow. Learning to align your sensory richness with emotional truth is your path to genuine intimacy. To deepen this form of connection, say, I feel safe when my senses are respected, when there is beauty, calm, and care in how we share space. Or, I'm not seeking extravagance, I'm seeking emotional warmth that I can see, smell, touch, and taste. Because for your Purva Phalguni moon, Sensate Intimacy is how love becomes a lifestyle. It's not about wealth, it's about warmth. Not about seduction, but about soulful softness. And when someone creates a sensory world where your body feels at ease and your heart feels adored, you gift them with the most generous form of intimacy you know, a love that is both radiant and real, where pleasure is not a performance, but a shared portal into emotional joy. Intimacy of kindness with moon in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. Soft power, warm loyalty. For your Purva Phalguni moon, kindness is not simply affection, it is graceful devotion. Ruled by Bhaga, deity of delight and abundance, and anchored in Leo's solar warmth, your emotional body yearns for relationships where kindness is both expressive and elegant. You are naturally affectionate, magnetic, and giving, but you also carry an unspoken expectation. Love must be beautiful, and kindness must have character. You feel safest in emotional environments where people treat each other well, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Yelling, cold withdrawal, passive aggression, these feel like soul violations to you. You crave emotional exchanges that maintain dignity, the partner who chooses softness even in disagreement, the friend who checks in without keeping score, the lover who knows how to repair with warmth instead of guilt. You offer kindness like a seasoned host, with flair, generosity, and genuine care. You anticipate needs. You express affection through comfort, laughter, and the subtle gift of beauty. You uplift others because your soul feels abundant when those around you feel good. But you also know when your generosity is being drained, and that's when your lioness heart retreats behind velvet curtains. Your shadow lies in occasionally expecting others to match your emotional generosity without voicing what you need. You may feel hurt if someone fails to offer you the same softness you so freely give, but rather than confront them, you might let your warmth cool, slowly, quietly. You don't erupt, you eclipse. The key is remembering that kindness needs clarity too, that your needs are worthy of being named, not just hoped for. True kindness, for you, is effortless elegance, not forced politeness or performative sweetness. It's the person who makes you tea the way you like it, who notices when you've dimmed and doesn't push, who remembers what you said in passing and brings it back with care. To deepen this form of intimacy, say, kindness to me is shown in emotional poise, the grace we offer when it would be easier to disconnect. Or, I feel closest to those who treat my heart with warmth and respect, not just when I'm shining, but when I'm soft. Because for your Purva Phalguni moon, kindness is not just how love is offered, it's how love stays. It is the unspoken loyalty woven into a glance, a touch, a gesture. It's the thread that ties your romance to reverence. And when you receive that kind of kindness, intentional, warm, and consistent, you respond with the full force of your inner radiance. Not out of duty, not for drama, but because your love is noble and your loyalty is royal. And kindness for you is how queens and kings remember. We don't rule with power, we rule with warmth. Intimacy of growth with moon in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, blooming in companionship, not competition. For your Purva Phalguni moon, growth in intimacy is not about reinvention. It is about blossoming into the most radiant version of yourself, with someone who celebrates that blooming rather than fearing it. Ruled by Bhaga, the god of pleasure and blessings, and lit by Leo's solar pulse, your emotional self doesn't just want love. It wants evolution through delight, creativity, and shared honor. You flourish in relationships where your growth is witnessed, not rushed. You crave a partner who is not intimidated by your glow, who doesn't shrink in your shine, but leans into it, because they're secure enough to rise beside you. For you, growth must be mutual and beautiful. It's not about one person pulling the other, but both walking side by side into deeper versions of themselves, supporting each other's dreams like two hands gently unfurling a rose. You grow through warmth, not criticism, through encouragement, not pressure. You thrive in environments where a partner says, yes, be more of that, instead of tone that down. Your moon's brilliance dims in spaces that treat your joy, sensuality, or ambition as excess. Growth for you is sacred, but only when it is wrapped in adoration. You are also generous in helping others grow. You cheer, affirm, support, and elevate, but your challenge lies in overgiving your energy to someone who resists their own becoming. You may linger in relationships where you keep trying to inspire someone who isn't ready, hoping your light will be enough for both. Eventually, though, your inner queen knows you can't grow for someone else. You can only invite them to meet you where the garden is real. To deepen this intimacy, say, I grow when I am loved into confidence, not corrected into control. Or, I need a partner who celebrates my expansion, not because they own it, but because they honor it. Because for your Purva Phalguni moon, growth is not a struggle, it is a love story. It is dancing into your next chapter with someone who says, keep going, I see you, and I want more of you. And when you are met with that kind of emotional support, one that is soft but strong, admiring but not possessive, you flourish. You become the lover who brings not just pleasure, but don't just grow. You don't glow with someone who knows how to grow beside you. Intimacy of activity with moon in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra. Togetherness through play, presence through pleasure. For your Purva Phalguni moon, shared activity isn't about productivity, it's about pleasure, ambiance, and the feeling of being emotionally seen while doing something together. Ruled by Bhaga, the deity of enjoyment, and infused with Leo's warmth and pride, your emotional self longs for connection through playful, sensuous, and aesthetically rich experiences. You don't need constant excitement, but you do need the experience to feel beautiful, joyful, or creatively alive. Whether it's cooking a luxurious meal together, lounging at a sunset picnic, dancing in your living room, or creating art side by side, what matters to you is the emotional tone of the experience. The act itself is secondary. The feeling it carries is everything. You are most intimate when you and your partner can create rituals of joy together. A weekly date night, a shared bath, decorating your space to reflect both your styles. These aren't just activities, they're acts of relational reverence. You love when the shared experience feels intentional, infused with beauty, and a bit of indulgence. You don't just want to do things, you want to savor them together. But your shadow may show up as resistance to unstructured or mundane activity. You might withdraw if something feels too routine, unstylish, or emotionally disconnected. You thrive on ceremony, even in the small things, so when activities feel like chores or lack warmth, you may silently detach or find ways to beautify the moment just to stay engaged. You also require freedom in your rhythm. You want a partner who respects when you need rest, solitude, or space to recharge your emotional vitality. Forced plans, overly rigid structures, or shared duties devoid of joy can drain you. You don't resist responsibility, but you do need it to be flavored with meaning, sensuality, or aesthetic resonance. To deepen this intimacy, say, I connect most deeply when what we do together feels nourishing, beautiful, or emotionally alive. Or, shared activity for me is about presence, not pressure. I need space to feel, not just perform. Because for your Purva Phalguni moon, activity is not just about movement, it's about emotional artistry. It's about creating a shared world where you both feel lit from the inside, where what you do reflects who you are together. And when someone understands that, even washing dishes becomes a slow dance. Even a walk becomes a love song. Because for you, the truest intimacy is not in what you do, but in how beautifully you do it together. Intimacy of allowance with moon in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, loving the light and the lull. For your Purva Phalguni moon, being allowed to just be without pressure, performance, or interruption is one of the deepest expressions of love. Ruled by Bhaga, the god of beauty, pleasure, and blessings, and anchored in Leo's radiant selfhood, your emotional rhythm is not linear. It flows through bursts of charisma and quiet retreats. And intimacy only deepens when someone honors both. You are naturally warm, expressive, and generous. But not every day is a stage, and you shouldn't have to perform your brightness to be worthy of affection. Sometimes you need solitude. Sometimes you need to soften the spotlight and be held in your quieter moods. And the partner who recognizes this, who doesn't take it personally when you retreat or go inward, is the one your heart begins to truly trust. You flourish when your emotional states are met with unconditional acceptance, not interrogation. You don't want to be asked, "What's wrong?" every time your glow dims. You want someone to sit with you, to breathe with you, to honor the ebb of your energy with the same reverence they show the flow. That's real intimacy for your moon, being allowed to rest, recharge, and not explain yourself. You offer this gift in return. When you feel secure, you become one of the most gracious and generous partners, offering others the freedom to be moody, messy, or introspective without demanding instant cheerfulness. Your love is laced with elegance, but your heart knows that love isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's patient, sometimes it's silent, and you respect that. But your challenge arises when you feel your emotional nuance is unseen. You might feel pressured to keep the fun going, to always be the radiant one, to hide your heaviness out of fear it will disappoint others. This creates quiet resentment and eventual withdrawal. The truth is, your light doesn't have to be constant to be valuable. You are lovable, even in your stillness. To deepen this intimacy, say, "I feel most held when I'm allowed to shift, without being asked to justify who I am today." Or, "My emotional rhythm includes brightness and quiet. I need space for both, without pressure to choose." Because for your Purva Phalguni moon, true love allows your soul to unfold like silk, naturally, rhythmically, without tugging. You do not need to be on to be adored. You do not need to sparkle to be held. When you are granted that allowance, something sacred happens. Your generosity returns with tenfold softness. Your laughter reawakens not from effort, but from being seen. Because for you, allowance is not about being left alone. It's about being lovingly left free. Intimacy of giving with moon in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, offering joy as devotion. For your Purva Phalguni moon, giving is not obligation, it's ritual joy. Ruled by Bhaga, deity of beauty, abundance, and delight, and fueled by Leo's warm expressive fire, your emotional self is designed to give in ways that elevate the spirit, enchant the senses, and affirm the worth of those you love. You give from a place of inner fullness, not depletion. When your heart is nourished, your generosity becomes your love language. You offer affection through pleasure, celebration, and elegance. Cooking a favorite dish with flair. Creating a beautiful space for connection. Writing love notes with poetic care. Dressing up not just for yourself, but as a gift of presence for your partner. These aren't acts of vanity. They're how your soul says, "You matter. Let me show you." But more than aesthetics, your giving carries emotional affirmation. You make people feel chosen, special, adored. You uplift others because you see their radiance, and your giving reflects back the beauty you sense in them. When love flows well, you are the life giver, the heart opener, the one who turns the ordinary into the enchanted. Still, your challenge arises when your giving goes unreciprocated, unnoticed, or taken for granted. You don't mind giving. You mind giving into a void. You might begin to withdraw your warmth with subtle dignity, telling yourself, "If they don't see what I'm offering, I will stop offering." This isn't pettiness, it's your emotional self-protection. And sometimes you may give as a way to maintain control over the emotional field, to keep things sweet, smooth, and beautiful, even if underneath you're tired or unseen. But true intimacy for you begins when your giving is no longer a performance. It's a genuine act of presence, matched by a space where you are also poured into. To deepen this form of intimacy, say, "I give to create beauty between us, but I need to feel like it's a shared offering, not a one-person performance." Or, "My love comes alive when what I give is received with appreciation, not assumption." Because for your Purva Phalguni moon, giving is how you adorn the emotional world. It is your royalty in motion, your soft gold of the heart. And when someone receives your giving not as obligation, but as the art it is, you flourish. You offer not just affection, but emotional warmth, aesthetic harmony, and a love that feels like a celebration of being alive together. Because for you, to give is to bless. To give is to romance the soul. And to give well is how you make love unforgettable. Intimacy of receiving with moon in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, the grace to be poured into. For your Purva Phalguni moon, receiving is a sacred act, equal parts trust, pleasure, and emotional surrender. Ruled by Bhaga, deity of blessings and pleasure, and flowing through the sovereign, solar-hearted Leo, your soul is wired to give generously, but often hesitates to fully receive without bracing. You are naturally radiant in love, offering attention, affection, warmth, celebration. But when someone turns that energy toward you, when they show up with gifts, gestures, or undivided presence, you sometimes pause. Can I relax into this? Do they mean it? Is it safe to let this land? Your moon wants to open, but only when receiving feels honest, unforced, and emotionally congruent. You don't need extravagance. You need intention. You melt under sincere praise, not generic compliments. You soften when someone gives to you with grace, not obligation, whether that's a hand offered without being asked, a thoughtful surprise, or emotional support that arrives before you ask for it. When it's real, when someone gives to you as if it is their joy to do so, your heart opens like sunlight through silk. You begin to relax your inner performer, to drop your self-managing grace, and let love come to you. Not because you earned it, not because you gave first, but because you are worthy, simply by being. Still the shadow. You may sometimes deflect or downplay kindness. You give easily, but you may receive cautiously, unsure if accepting too much makes you vulnerable, needy, or indebted. You might joke it off, quickly reciprocate, or deny that you needed anything at all. But this only distances you from the nourishment your soul truly craves. To receive well, you must remember, you are not adored because you entertain or uplift. You are adored because you exist. And that is enough. To deepen this intimacy, say, I receive best when love is offered with sincerity, not strategy. I want to feel chosen, not managed. Or, I open when generosity is tender, not transactional, when it feels like a joy to give, not a duty. Because for your Purva Phalguni moon, receiving is not weakness, it is emotional elegance. It is the queen who lets down her guard long enough to be crowned with affection. It is the inner romantic who lets the banquet of love be served to her, slowly, sweetly, with care. And when that happens, when love is offered to you with reverence and no strings, you don't just receive, you radiate, because you've always known how to give. Now, the intimacy lies in this: letting yourself be filled fully, freely, and without needing to shine first.